In 1620, while the Mayflower was in Provincetown, 18 of its men sailed in a small shallop, searching for a place to live. They came to present-day Eastham, where they were met by a group of Nauset. After a brief but violent encounter, the English left towards today's Plymouth. In 2020, we remember this first encounter. We explore its meanings for today and tomorrow. Welcome back to the Sunset Series. My name is Joanna Hollick, and I'm the coordinator of the Sunset Series with Eastham 400. I'm here today with Andrew Buckley. Andrew is the producer of the film Stephano, the true story of Shakespeare's Shipwreck. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Could you start by telling us a little bit about what the documentary is and what the general premise is about?
Sure. This is a film that's part of our Hit and Run History series, which really takes a adventure travel show approach to history, just as Anthony Bourdain did for food and culture and such like that, to be able to take stories that have a travel element to it and follow the story from place to place. And in this particular case, we're following the story of the only person who had been to the New World before, and that was Stephen Hopkins. And this is a story that I grew up learning from my mother because she's a Hopkins herself, from Hopkins Lane on East Orleans, and was actually born just across the border in Eastham. So I grew up hearing the stories about Stephen Hopkins and how he was different from everybody else on board the Mayflower, how he had been shipwrecked, and how possibly this was a connection to one of Shakespeare's plays. So after hearing about it, I decided to learn more about it, and long story short, that's what brings me here.
And was that personal connection your inspiration for the film?
Yes, it really is. Well, we were looking at the 400th anniversary of the Mayflower's arrival, and saying we should probably do something with this particular story. If there's going to be a time to do it, certainly now is the time. And so we were able to get a pre-production grant from the Massachusetts Foundation for the Humanities. We went out and we filmed a fundraising trailer for it a few years ago, and then we followed it up with following the story from place to place, and it just got richer and richer as we went along. And certainly the personal connection probably opened more doors, and got us into a network of people, of historians who were specialized in their particular niche, whether it was Bermuda, or whether it was in London, or down in Virginia, or of course here.
And you've mentioned a variety of different places, and I understand that you did a fair amount of traveling while producing the film. Could you talk a little bit about the production process and some of the different places you visited?
Sure. First of all, our style is very much run and gun. We typically go with a very small crew, 2 cameras, maybe someone doing sound and still photography, and myself. So a crew of maybe 5 at most, which doesn't draw a lot of attention and puts people at ease instantly when we're talking to whomever. And so we went to where Stephen Hopkins was born, in Hampshire, in England. And then we went down to Southampton. We went to Plymouth, England itself. We went to London, and where he got married for a second time. We went to Bermuda, where the ship that he was on, the Sea Venture, as it was heading to Jamestown in 1609, wrecked. And then we continued on from there, and we went to Virginia, where he ended up for a period of time. And then, of course, we filmed here on the Cape. And then various places around as well. A Bermuda historian down in Maryland, and actually some actors who had been in the Tempest down in D.C. We filmed them in New York, and then members of the different Native American tribes up and down the East Coast as well.
And could you also tell us a little bit more about the Shakespeare side of the film and how Shakespeare's play The Tempest ties in with this story?
Right. Well, to, to put it briefly, the story of the Tempest, it's the final play, final solo play of William Shakespeare, and it's been called his kind of his farewell play. And it involves a wizard who is stranded on an island with his daughter, teenage daughter. They have a slave there who's a native of the island, Caliban, and the wizard Prospero is able to make a shipwreck on the island that contains his brother who had betrayed him and other members of nobility, and he's able to kind of manipulate everything. And at the moment that he's kind of about to take his revenge, he instead forgives those who brought him there. And but in the midst of it, kind of as comic relief, is his jester and his butler. And his butler, Stephano, is drunk the entire time, and they are looking to overthrow Prospero and take control of the island along with Caliban. And so Stephano is a drunken clown, so to speak, the entire time. So that connects up with the story of Stephen Hopkins, who wrecked on Bermuda with the rest of the Sea Venture crew, raises the issue that the acting governor of Virginia, who wants to build 2 ships and go off, continue on their way, has no authority on the island of Bermuda, which is kind of a no man's land. And in doing so, he is brought up on charges of mutiny, condemned to death, and there's basically his life is spared from the intercession of what are the better sort on board the ship, including a former business partner of William Shakespeare's. So from that part of the story, when that story, all of it gets back to England, Shakespeare writes a play based upon it loosely, and the connection of Stephen Hopkins and Stephano is fun, possibly accurate.
And if people are interested in learning more about the film or viewing it, where can they go to see it or learn more?
Well, because of all the restrictions currently, we're going to be doing a number of screenings at local libraries and historical societies. Clearly, we can't be doing that indoors now, so we bought the setup for a pop-up drive-in, a 9 by 16-foot screen, an FM broadcaster, and a digital projector. We're going to be having our first screening on the 28th at the Cape Cod Community Media Center, and then we're going to be doing more, and we're going to be bringing one right here to Eastham, and those details are forthcoming.
Well, that sounds wonderful, and thank you so much, Andrew, for being here today and telling us about this.
Great. Thanks for having me.
My name is Joanna Hollick. Thank you for your support of the Sunset series and Eastham 400. If you're interested in supporting Eastham 400 efforts by purchasing commemorative items, we do have several items for sale on our website, eastham400.org. We are selling gold foil First Encounter ornaments, T-shirts with the Eastham 400 logo, and montages made by a local artist. The ornaments feature an image of the shallop and come with a special description card. The T-shirts are available in light blue, navy, and ash gray, and in sizes adult small through 3XL. The montage depicts watercolor images of important historic and well-known landmarks around the town of Eastham. Each of these items are $20. Thank you.